I spent a lot of nights just not sleeping and crying and wondering what I was going to do. And as I said, you know, God really answered my prayers, and this was the miracle and the turnaround that we both needed.
Look, we're creating kids an opportunity, whether it be an inner city, a poor environment, cultural deprivation, whatever it may be. We're taking them from that point, putting them into a situation like this and showing them, hey, and telling them there's a better way out there. Let's show them something different so that hopefully they can strive for that.
Oh, I think that this was the best thing ever happened to him. George Jr., in my opinion, was the best thing ever happened to my grandson. He has not only grown here educationally, he has grown socially.
They made me see that me as a person, I could be the CEO of a company, or I can be a bum on the street begging for change.
Like your CPs, plus they took you in as their own. They love you to death and let you enter in their home.
And he walked to my office, and we have a plate glass window and a door that's locked, so you can't just come into the office. And he picked up a lamp and threw it across the room and broke the window. I had to pay for all the damage for that.
There wasn't a minute that went by where I didn't want to get high.
I would say 100% of the guys that we have been involved in the drug scene one way or the other.
This one individual who was in a situation where he accidentally shot his friend.
His mother was a crack-addicted individual, and he sold crack to make money.
While I was home, I was hanging out with my friends, and they thought it would be fun to vandalize some people's houses. They thought it'd be fun to break into a garage and steal some cars and blow them up. And being a follower instead of a leader, I followed and did the same thing. The crime that I've committed to get here was a DUI and a violation of probation. I was never going to school. I was never doing anything with my life. I mean, I was just like a bum on the streets.
I don't think that the perception of residential treatment for juvenile delinquents has really changed in the last 20 or 30 years through today. You have a lot of people that, you know, feel that it's warranted and necessary, and you're giving kids opportunities, and you have probably just as many as saying, hey, kids should be locked up. They've committed crimes and they need to pay the price, and you know, you need to make it as difficult as you can on them.
So when you got me due back then?
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, okay.
Everybody that I have met in the past 2 years, there's not one person that I could say is here just because it's something to do, because it's a job. They all love the kids. And I think children respond to love. And I think a lot of times when they're in this sort of environment, it's because they're not loved or they're not supported, and they really do get that here. It's not an institution.
They need the guidance and the support and the love that they initially don't have or don't get at home.
But the heart, it comes through relationships, you know, the heart. I mean, because without the heart changing, a young man's not going to change.
I was a third baseman. I never knew I could play baseball as well as I did. Academics, I never knew I was as smart as I was. I didn't think I was capable of doing the things that I've accomplished here at George Union in the past 6 months. I was really nervous when I got here. There's about 400 other kids here.
I came at 6:30 at night. And I was very angry that day.
So when they came to pick me up, George Jr., I wanted to run, and I had plans to run, and I was going to run, except this guy, his name is Mr. Chuck Carlin. He was my transporter. He talked to me about the opportunities that I have at George Jr., but he never lied. He told the truth, and when I got here, what he told me is exactly what I've seen. The school and the George Jr. staff sit down with you, and they talk to you about what you need to do, what you have been doing, what you're doing now, how to change it all, where you come from, where you're at, and how you can go.
Sometimes they come here after the judge has ordered them to come here. So sometimes they don't even have the opportunity to go home and pack up their belongings that they need. So they're shocked and embarrassed because the judge just sentenced them here. And some are anxious to see what's expected of them, and some are rebellious. Sometimes they threaten to abscond
We left Philadelphia pretty early, like around 11. I came here at nighttime, and it was different looking at it at night. Because the next day I woke up and I was just like, wow, that's a nice place to be. You can get some fresh air up here. There's trees and grass. And
the first hour or two, I felt a little nervous, but I walked into a cottage called Brejon West, and when I walked in there, I seen a big screen TV, other kids playing together, cards, board games, sitting down on the couch watching TV, talking on the phone to their parents. Walked in, there was a big table, a regular table for all of us to sit down and eat, and regular carpeted floors, and it really made me feel more comfortable. And then when I went to my bedroom, that's what made me feel the most at home. When I walked in there, there was a bed, a real bed, no cot, no nothing, just a real bed, a real dresser, a desk lamp, a window. Unbelievable to the lengths that they go to help us build foundations for the rest of our lives. Like, they don't just throw us in this place and say, all right, do your time here.
You're going to be hard-pressed to be placed by a judge that is not saying, kid, I care about you enough to put you in a facility that is an incredible facility to give you a chance. You know, it's to give you a chance, young man, to make a change. You don't have to change. You can repeat and repeat and go out and do the same old, and it's going to get worse. Or you can come here, have a reflective time out, and decide, do you want something better?
3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared.
Excellent, perfect.
If you treat a man as he is, you know, he will remain as he is, but if you treat him as he can and should be, he'll become what he can and should be.
Some of the parents, though, they've tried getting help from everyone. They've tried from the schools, they've tried from the community, they've tried counseling, and the court is basically the last hope.
Can I be excused, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Usually on the first day we start off with, number one, we talk about respect. What it is to respect a person, what it is to respect a teacher, and what it is for a teacher to respect students. That way they know how they're supposed to behave while they're in the classroom.
So behavior to me is being basic and fundamental. You teach them good hygiene, you teach them good social skills of how to say please, thank you, you're welcome, that type of thing. And that behavior, doesn't matter where the young man is from, he responds to doing things that are appropriate.
Everybody starts off in the orientation unit, and that's usually 30 days. From the orientation unit, you go to a line cottage, and from a line cottage, you go to a group home. Now, here in orientation, you're pretty much watched pretty closely. You can't walk outside the building without a staff member being with you.
We do an assessment for the first 30 days while they're in the special needs unit to see what their needs are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and to help them build on their strengths. So to change some of their weaknesses to be more positive. So it tends to be that the treatment team coordinator works within a team of clinical managers that together we come up with the appropriate goals for that child.
Goal setting is probably the biggest thing that we do. Setting a goal and being able to achieve it.
The unique part of George Junior is we have a program for all students. We have a life skills program that meets the needs of those students who truly are unable to strive academically in the regular curriculum, but they make great gains. They learn how to balance a checkbook, they learn how to read, they learn the basic things that they're going to need to make it in the world, and that makes them feel successful.
When you get from orientation to a line cottage, your privileges increase a little bit. You have more freedom. You can now at least go outside as long as you stay within the immediate vicinity of the cottages. Your bedtime might be a little bit later.
We collaborate within the English department on our curriculum so that we're able to align our curriculum to the state standards. As we are part of the Grove City Area School District, we want to be in alignment with the school district as much as possible.
What turned Lewis around, I think, here at George Jr., it's structured. The home environment, I met some of the staff here, the teachers, the Barnes School. The staff is very nice. The teachers, Mrs. Martin, the principal, very open.
They teach the kids social norms that they need to be successful back in the community. A lot of our kids come here without the knowledge, I guess, of how to do well in the community, how to live with other people without following the negative influences in life. After they leave here, tend to do very well.
They come in so rough, and
we have to polish a lot off of their social skills and manners and things.
If you and I were shift workers, you work 7 to 3, and I come in from 3 to 11, you may not want to deal with something from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, so you let me worry about it when I come in. With the couples, they're part of that home. They're part of the kid's life, just as if a natural family was involved with their own children. The concert parents, they take pride and ownership in that home.
When they make a change and they realize that they need to follow rules, or they realize that they need to make relationships with people, it's a great satisfaction to see that the light turns on.
And ultimately, that's the main goal, to understand that you have to take responsibility for yourself and your own actions.
I firmly believe what you expect from the kids, you'll get. So we have very high expectations, and it shows.
Shoot for the stars, because if you miss, you will fall in gently on a cloud.
They start to see that they can do something about their behavior. They start to see that they're not a slave to their own habits. I think they really start to enjoy the freedom that they have in learning to do what's right for what's right's sake, and that's progress.
They tend to learn on their own. All that the George Junior program is kind of somebody that's helping guide you to the right door. You still have to make your choice, which door do I want to go to? They're not walking through the door with you. You have to make the choice which door you want to go to. But I think the George Junior program, along with the school program, teaches the students the proper way to do it, and in the end, it's on the student to make the choice.
His family supported his decision, and this was totally his decision, not his parents, not mine. He discussed this with his attorneys, and he decided he wanted to stay here.
Last year at our graduation, I believe we had about 40 students, and 10 of them had chosen to stay at the end of their junior year to graduate from George Junior Public School.
We spent a valuable resource to get them here, but it pales in comparison to what the adult system would spend on them if they didn't achieve the success here that they're capable of achieving.
Colors within, and for me to state that to a youth that come from a Philadelphia inner city hardcore neighborhood, they have no knowledge of that. They feel like if we work here, then we came from an upper level, middle class, and to tell them that we come out the projects and we made it. And you could do the same thing, and they look, some of them listen.
Kids are kids. I don't care what you say. They might come from different areas than they have before, but they're still kids.
Yes, and everybody has a right to make choices. And everybody, no one's perfect as a human being. So you're going to make mistakes. But the mistakes that you make, you try to correct.
On his graduation day, just right over there, I remember him grabbing me and just starting to cry because he wasn't ready to be released. And being a heavy, being a heavy substance abuser, he knew that his chances of success would be very limited if he didn't change his people, places, and things.